Hello, everyone. I know it's been a couple weeks since you've heard from me, but I took a little impromptu break because sometimes that's just life and life happens. But I am dropping this episode today because some shit hit the fan last week while I was traveling. And I've got Lauren Skae back with me. And this is somebody that very much needed to be a part of this conversation because Lauren and I's friendship began strictly because of House and Habit, aka Jessica Reed Kraus. Now, I know I have brought her up in some of my personal tales, but equally, Lauren and I have touched on her already the last couple episodes that we've done together. Now, with that being said, I really want to focus on her today because of what just happened. But I know people are probably like, well, where's the crime element to this? And I'm going to have Lauren explain that a little bit more in just a second. But really, what this boils down to is to give everyone context again, Jessica was a mommy blogger way back when, and I fell on her page during the Gabby Petito search. And while I definitely had a lot of conflicting feelings when that was going on, I stuck around up until she got to the satanic panic, the start of her grift. But between that time, she also covered Free Britney, was, already starting to show her Ghislaine Maxwell, fangirling, if you will. And then where she fully lost me was the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, which, again, as a survivor, should be no surprise to anyone why I took extreme offense to that coverage that Jessica did. And then, of course, to take things a step further, again, she really fully fell into my world once she started going after Army Hammer's survivors, and one survivor in particular. This is a survivor that I had been communicating with for, at least a year up until that point. And she decided to go after her on her Substack. And this is a woman who is a survivor who went through extreme trauma, and it was bullshit. And I called her out on it. And I even offered to set up a meeting with her and talk about how you report on survivors. How do you do it without re-traumatizing them? How can you maybe collaborate with them? But that was never anything that she had any desire for. So, with that being said, I remained to be vocal about her. Then she made her way to Park City, Utah to cover the Gwyneth Paltrow trial with the skier. And as a joke, I said, there was a lot of gloom in my town when she showed up. And mind you, she blocked me after I offered to connect with her, but then decided to unblock me during that and basically said that I did not belong in Park City. Everybody was so nice and kind to her, when in fact, Park City is very liberal. And while yes, there is those pockets of conservatives, no, yeah, people are probably nice to your face, but if they knew your true politics or actually even knew who you fucking were, no, they would not like you, Jessica. And I very much, yes, once again, am a true Parkite, so fuck you all the way. So this is really what this episode is just a true fuck you to Jessica Reed Kraus. We are going to be talking about Candace Owens today, as well. So I'm going to preface this top line because I've noticed now on the House on Fire subreddit there is a lot of mingling going on in all different political belief systems, but the general consensus is Jessica is the culprit and is really, opening up people's eyes to the grift and to the abusive cycles that she has maintained over these years, trying to get ahead, trying to break into Hollywood, trying to, I don't know, have an affair with RFK Jr. I mean, that like, who knows? Who knows what goes on in this woman's brain? But like I said, I'm here with Lauren Skae, so I'm going to turn this over right now to Lauren to also start bringing y'all up to speed. So, Lauren, thank you so much again for joining me.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. Honestly, it's been like, I feel like it's been unfolding in such an insane way. And I
Mhm.
didn't realize that like the Real Housewives of MAGA was gonna be like a new season this week. I can't take credit for that. My friend Kiki was calling it that, Kiki Monique, and like it's just stuck with me. I'm like, now it's like the Real Housewives of MAGA.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and
truly.
it's wild. It's
Hmm.
wild.
I'm here for
Um,
it.
but for anyone that didn't see how this began, basically what happened was Jessica put out a Substack, and in the Substack, she accused Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens of, copying her signature style because they, like every other reporter the world over, were
Yeah.
covering Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. So they were just taking a page out of Jessica's pop culture handbook and copying her.
Wow.
Because
Mm.
everyone's always like copying Jessica or jealous of her. Like
Yeah.
her rebuttal always sounds like that of like a middle school girl who's like, "You're
Yes.
jealous of me."
Hmm.
It's so wild. So anyway, basically, Candace Owens then, went on her YouTube and she does the YouTube lives and she was just like, I always had a nice rapport with Jessica. This is
Hmm.
ridiculous. It's reading like an insecure person for her to say this. And then Jessica, in true Jessica nature, with her narcissistic injury, instead of just being like, okay, I kind of went after her, she kind of went after me equally, maybe like I'll just end it here. She
Hmm.
doubled down and went fully scorched earth. And what happened
Scorched.
was when she went fully scorched earth, it came out that both of her writers, a girl named Emily and a girl named Brianna, and her photographer slash like former best friend Denise had all recently left Jessica.
Yeah.
And so what happened with that was one of the writers, Emily, um, got on the phone with Candace Owens and talked to her about a hit piece that she had been writing for Jessica.
Hmm.
And so basically, this hit piece was going to be like something up to the effect of like Candace Owens' husband was having a romantic relationship with Andrew Tate. And so I guess what happened, according to the writer who basically was the squeaky wheel for Candace Owens, was that Olivia Nuzzi came in, and Olivia Nuzzi, for anyone that doesn't know, was the woman who had this RFK sexting scandal that Jessica Reed Kraus called big boned Meryl Streep, and suddenly now they're friends again.
Big
So
bone Meryl Streep.
yeah,
Good
I
God.
don't know how you come back from that, but okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, Emily was not so pleased that Olivia was reviewing her work, but I guess what Olivia said was like Olivia like had to teach Jessica what libel was for the first time.
Oh.
Yeah, she didn't, and she had to teach her like, different rules about like what she could post and like what could be litigious and stuff like that. Um, so like this far into this woman has
Wow.
500,000
Mm.
Substack subscribers and she's just now
Hmm.
having this conversation.
Wow.
So yeah, that tells you a lot. That tells you a lot.
Right.
Um, and so anyway, then what happened was Emily had shared some screenshots with Candace about that conversation, and like Jessica was saying, like Olivia says it needs to be a clean shot if we're gonna talk about Candace. And that was what really got under Candace Owens' skin.
Yeah.
She ended up doing another YouTube live and she she just was like going down the rabbit hole of like what's the connection between RFK Jr., Olivia Nuzzi and Jessica Reed Kraus and
Yeah.
got a few things wrong, was saying that Jessica's van was registered to Olivia Nuzzi, which is not the case. In fact, I was driving through Laguna behind Drain the Swamp American flag monstrosity of a van that was one of
Mm.
those vans that they have like seven American flags, and it's like, sir,
Oh, yeah.
how small are you telling me it is? Like, you know what
Yeah.
like what are
Uh,
you compensating for with those flags? Um,
yeah.
I'm driving down the street and I see like the beat up van and it honks. It honks at the monstrosity, and it was her husband driving through Laguna. So I can confirm that Candace was wrong about that because I did see him in the
Flesh.
uh in the fashion
Gross.
mobile.
Wow.
So
Wow.
anyway, that's kind of like where things went, and things have unfolded in such a crazy way since. And there's been responses from Jessica, non-apologies, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I don't know where's your brain at, Celene?
I mean, here's the thing. When we're talking about Candace Owens and talking about Emily and Denise, these are all names that have popped up over the years, right? And I think when what first caught my eye was something that, Candace started coming for House and Habit on her show, whatever it was. And the confusion started because I am like, whoa, 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 whoa. Because here's the thing with Jessica, too, is that she supposedly is unbiased. She is not declared anything in terms of like her political affiliation. It's also been revealed that she didn't even vote.
Mm-hmm.
Woman didn't even
And her excuse
vote.
first was that she was far too like untethered
Yeah.
to vote. And then
Yeah.
it was that she was too busy to vote.
She
And
was all over chasing Trump on his campaign trail, right? Like that was
but she
during that time.
also put up a post that is, unfortunately for her, the Reddit has the receipts. And
Yeah.
they even have a receipt of her telling people to do their absentee ballot, which she could have done very easily.
Remember that.
She's also a
Mhm.
registered Democrat, but then um one of her so there's been this girl, Saddle Tramp brand, who's been kind of posting because Denise Beauvais hasn't really, I think, felt comfortable posting.
Mhm.
And it was revealed by her that allegedly when Denise was like, "Hey, you need to vote. This is going to look really bad for you if this comes out," she just would like laugh.
That's wild to
And
me.
that's where I'm like, okay, maybe her conservative followers need to like look at this and be like, she's playing in our face.
Right.
My whole thesis of Jessica is that she follows the rule book of polarity equals popularity, and like
Yeah.
polarity equals clicks and clicks equals money. And she is just going down the path of whatever gives her the most visibility, money,
Mhm.
clicks, at
Mhm.
whatever cost, at
Whatever
whatever
it takes.
cost. She doesn't
Yeah.
care who she hurts.
No. No. And that's been this way for years. And we're
Mm-hmm.
officially at a point where we're saying this has been years, which is
Yeah.
wild.
And by
Uh
the way, like Jessica, who constantly claims to have insider information,
yes.
I was in the House of Hammer documentary. I talked to a lot of the
Mhm.
people who she was going after. And
Mhm.
Jessica, who likes to always claim to have the inside track, if
Mhm.
she had a moral compass, never would have written some of the things she did. But
Right.
she has attacked so many survivors that she's never even taken the time to have a conversation with. She's
No.
always having a conversation with probably the person who was the perpetrator,
Correct.
who the conversation they're going to have with her, they only stand to gain from having somebody believe their bullshit.
Yeah.
And then she hasn't even talked to the victims. She's just looked at things online, probably.
Well,
Uh,
that's where she gets all of her gossip,
yeah,
right? Is just
yeah.
wherever she can find it, but it's always this, well, someone told me that X, Y, and Z, and I got confirmation that da 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 da, my Substack will come out next week covering all of this. And then it would never happen.
And you know what, Celene? If we did the same thing to her with the things that we know behind the scenes, there's
Hmm.
so much more coming, guys. Like
Yeah.
we if we did that to her,
Yeah.
God, like we could be so much more interesting right now, but we have integrity.
That's all that
And
it takes. But yeah,
do you know what I mean?
we're
You're
not
not just
even
gonna throw out a bunch of like true hearsay.
truly. But that's what she has built her empire, and I'm doing quotations on because when we're looking at the amount of attacks that she has had against trauma survivors, it's maddening to me because, like I said, it really hit a chord when she started going after Army survivors. She even threw up revenge porn on her Substack, and I was kind of the one who started putting pressure because I went to the House on Fire subreddit. I told people, hey, I don't do anything with Substack. Does anybody have any access to the actual, whatever she wrote and the pictures that she put up there of the survivor? And next thing I know, it's gone. After she saw that I was snooping around, that, again, we're talking legalities. We're talking, that survivor was like, do I go and try to sue this person? You know what I mean? So it's like, this isn't just, oh, I don't know, social media banter. This affects fucking people. It affects survivors. And if we're gonna sit here and we're talking about this on a true crime podcast, this is where I was like, okay, this is the hill that I'm gonna die on because it's atrocious and it's this continuous cycle. So I'm very intrigued to know because this morning, what was the news this morning about Russell Brand?
Yeah.
And him being charged with rape and X, Y, and Z. But again, when all of that initially came out, here she is kissing his ass and talking about how wonderful and how great he is. And wasn't there a picture of them too?
Yeah, and
Uh,
today she wrote, she's like, I don't care about Russell Brand getting accused of rape or this or that or whatever. I'm enjoying spring break with my family.
are you?
And it's like, girl, Miss Girl, okay. You know,
No. Right, right.
we know that you're glued to your phone and
Mm,
probably refreshing Reddit and like not even looking your kids in the eyes. Like, I'm sorry
no.
to say, but like she like I believe one of her sons like was in the hospital when she was like watching the coronation
Mhm,
from bed in England, like
mhm.
and didn't like rush back to be with him. So like I don't believe that you're gonna like be off your phone. Anytime like Jessica's taken like a quote unquote like break from social media or whatever,
Yeah.
it's kind of like I think there's like this meme of Demi Lovato being like, I'm leaving social media, and then like 24 hours, maybe it was Selena Gomez, and it was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey guys, like, like 24 hours later, and like it's
It's
literally like,
true.
you don't even get a full 24 hours. But even like there's been so much stuff on her Substack. Like there was an well, first of all, obviously like the Ghislaine Maxwell fangirling has been
Hmm.
insane.
Hmm.
And like I think there are some people that feel like, okay, Ghislaine took the fall, but like, why didn't the men that were in these books take the fall? And like, I think that anyone that was involved in like the procurement or like
Hmm.
assault of like these young girls should be in jail. And I
Hmm.
don't give a fuck if they are a Democrat, a Republican, an
Correct.
independent, a man, a woman, like black, white, green. I don't care. And
Hmm.
that's I think sometimes the difference between um certain parties is like there's a tendency not to believe that somebody's involved with something if they align with your political beliefs on
Right,
the right more so.
right,
For
right.
me personally, if I were to find out that somebody that was left leaning, even if I liked them a lot, was involved with that, I would believe it and I'd be like, they should go to jail.
Yeah.
Um, but the thing is, she's been all free Ghislaine. She
Hmm.
has propped Ghislaine up to be like this amazing like businesswoman and like I think even like been like, oh,
Fashionista.
and I would love for her to be in like public office here kind of thing.
Hmm.
So she's even been seen wearing a free Ghislaine shirt, which is just insane to me because how as a mother can you wear a free Ghislaine shirt? But the other really damning thing, and this is where I think she just has taken things like to a crazy level. And she's since deleted this from her Substack, which she posted it on March 31st, 2022. And of course,
Hmm.
the Reddit has the screenshots. So girl, Reddit is forever. Sorry, Jessica. But basically she was trying to look into Hunter Biden. And so basically it reads because she was alleging that he was involved with minors. So the photos today are harder to find. Many have been wiped off the internet entirely. Images I saw but did not include here were horrifying frames of a young Asian child in a hotel room dressed up in lace lingerie and videos of sex acts with what appear to be 14 and 15-year-old girls. So you're telling us that
Hmm.
you went on the internet and found horrifying frames of young Asian children in a hotel room dressed up in lace lingerie and videos of sex
Yes,
acts with what appear to be 14 and 15-year-old girls. Jessica, you're not law enforcement. Why are you watching this?
correct. That is mortifying. And the
Yeah.
fact that she publicly put that out there. I,
Mm-hmm.
I, I don't give a flying fuck if you're trying to be an investigative journalist. You're not an investigative journalist, Jessica, period. Like you're
No,
not.
no,
And somebody who actively works with active cases or let alone cases that involve children, there's no fucking way I am going and doing that.
no,
No. It's one
no.
thing to read a police report, which I
Mhm.
have done time and time again. Have I read police reports about abuse or sex trafficking of minors? Yes, I have. There's a difference.
Yeah,
There is a
100%.
significant difference. I also want to throw out there, though, is what also brought Jessica back into the whole Epstein circle was that she was one of those few individuals that went to the White House when Trump, was releasing the Epstein files. And Miss Jessica is there smiling with her binder. Wasn't she, wasn't she like sitting on the floor with like in this
Jessica
meeting or something?
usually like relegate her to the floor, but
Floor,
I think
yeah.
maybe she had a chair. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't know. There was like, but basically, it was basically said that she wasn't even fully like a part of this. Like she was there because she wants the grift and she wants the photo and she wants the notoriety, but it's not like she's actually in the press pool getting invited to the White House the way that she is portraying. But to see a mom with that binder and smiling as if it's what? What? Disgusting. Like this is why I really don't want to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm coming on my podcast to rip down a woman." Now, let me be clear. No, that's not what we're doing here. This is a person who's actively hurting people and actively hurting trauma survivors along the way who have
Yes.
traumatized them. I mean, thank God I have the thick skin that I have, and I tend to laugh at everything that she has ever come for me at, and again, and calling us, what did she call us? Like millennial parking millennials? I can't remember.
Parking
Basically,
lot millennials, I
parking lot
think.
millennials
Yeah.
that we make videos in our car and we have nothing better to do. Whatever. Listen, lady, if we want to talk about uh
Jessica, you you post the TV from your hotel room as content,
mm,
and don't even get me started on the orthopedic loafers because,
oh Lord.
you know,
Well, and going back to what the shit show that just happened, because now we're talking about people who have one been in her friend circle for many years, but equally people who were helping her brand, who were helping her, who were her writers, who were, and again, and these are not, I want to make it very clear that these are not people that I align myself with at all either,
mhm.
because just like you said, the Real Housewives of MAGA, that's really, what that boils down to. Now, with that being said, there was a scenario where Jessica posted a police report detailing DV pertaining I don't even want to say who that person it was related to at this point. Um, Mortified on my
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, and it also included information about like her child, which
Child.
like I will say here for like for context, but like I don't want to go into it because again, I think that like we're dragging like somebody's kid into something is so
Mm-hmm.
awful.
Mm-hmm.
And what the funny thing about this was what Jessica did was when Candace Owens kind of came out and said that like certain people in Jessica's circle had quit,
Mm-hmm.
um, like Jessica then went and sent information about one of these individuals that worked for her, to Candace Owens. And Candace Owens was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
And I'm not posting this. So then Jessica went to post it to Substack and deleted it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also posted to Reddit by someone, we're not sure who, but it was
Mm.
also deleted from Reddit. But or at around the same time, Jessica deleted it from Substack. So do with that
Good Lord.
information what you will.
Good Lord.
Um, but basically the interesting thing is going back to the Epstein binders, she was feuding with Laura Loomer at that time. And so
Mm.
she literally wrote on her Instagram story, this is a quote from Jessica's personal Instagram story. Um, any friend who releases personal text, even from ex-friends, is the lowest of low. I would never release personal text from private conversations under any circumstance, even after a falling out, which is why people trust me the way they do. Okay, that was her going after Laura Loomer, and I believe is around over Ashley St. Clair or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so anyway, the contradictions just like keep rolling with this woman, but
But she did post screenshots and she
well,
blocked
this was a
out.
month later, right? This is a month
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she did. And she blocked out, I believe, I can't remember which one it was, if it was Emily or Denise, but basically saying, like, I quit. But she covered that and
Yeah.
said, you're fired.
Dude, you didn't
Like,
only release text, you released court documents. Like you released
yes, yes,
PDFs. Like that's worse than a
yes,
text. Like, about
yes.
somebody's marriage. And,
Domestic
then
violence.
basically she she was claiming that an incident involving her son was the reason for the
Oh,
fallout
that's
of the
right.
friendship,
Hmm.
right? Between
Hmm.
her and one of the
Hmm.
people on her team.
Hmm.
And basically like it was kind of like it was giving like, oh my God, the internet's mad at me, like let me hide behind my son.
Yeah,
Because the incident with her son happened a long time ago,
right.
but the real incident that was the unfolding of her writers and her photographer quitting
Mm.
was what we can refer to as Camergate. So basically,
Yes, please tell this
Jessica
story.
has been begging the internet to give a fuck that her and Olivia Nuzzi are friends again. And she's been doing it for a while. She teased the friendship in her January Substack. She said,
Mm.
which this like makes me cringe so much because Jessica really thinks she's like a mysterious celebrity. It like actually makes me cringe so much. Like reading this, it actually kills me, but I'm gonna do it anyway. The secondhand embarrassment is really, really hard for me though. Um, Somebody beside me let out a sharp gasp when a photo booth curtain parted and the blonde in black emerged. What the fuck is Olivia Nuzzi doing at your party? She asked. A fair question, given the intimacy of the setting and how much of my life has come to be publicly dissected in print. But not an
Oh
answer
boy.
easily explained in a fleeting recap. For now, all I'll say is that in the months following the scandal Olivia and I had spent in hiding, we reconnected on the West Coast, a twist neither of us saw coming, nor prepared to expand in greater detail. Which, like, that whole, like, thing just makes me cringe so fucking hard. I can't even tell you. Like, I don't know why. Like, the part where she's like, my life is just, like, dissected in print, as if she's,
Who's
like,
the
literally,
only look, I mean, you've got EJ who did write that article about Jessica not too long after I think we did our last episode, or there was a time frame where it was in New York Magazine or the New Yorker, I can't remember. Yeah. So fine, I'll give her that.
it's
But
reminding me of, like, Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada, like, another divorce splashed on the front page. Whatever that quote was, like it's reminding me of that. But like she's just not. Listen, yeah, people like the news has taken notice and like kind of like low key called you a mommy blogger turned like red pill like conspiracy theorist. I don't know.
I don't know how that's like dissecting your life when
Yeah.
it's just
If we really
fact.
dissected your life, if like a journalist really looked into it,
Yep.
like a proper journalist, I think we maybe there would be a really interesting piece. But
And I'm going to go out there and say I have been approached by
yeah.
reputable journalists, and nothing has come of it as of yet. But Jessica, I know you're going to listen to this.
Yeah. Hey
Let's
girl.
be real. Um, and no, like nobody wants to get into it, I feel like, because it's also a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
Because this isn't somebody who's making a difference in the world. You're adding to the stress and the anxiety and the crippling feelings I have every single day of waking up in this America, if you
Yeah.
will. Um, but it's time to like really sit down, acknowledge the things that she has done. And it sucks that it took her friends, if you will, to open this up. But when you have somebody like Candace Owens who's like kind of giving you how do I say this properly? Like you agree with her in some areas, right? Like she's making valid points. Here's to say that I still think she's a horrible, awful person at the end of the day. No, I don't like you, Candace Owens. I don't. And I'm never gonna praise you. But you speak some truth. And
Mm-hmm.
we're all in agreement in what Jessica has become and what she has done. Like I said, it's a matter of understanding the amount of victims that she's creating.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very much what kind of happens in this entertainment industry when people get it in their heads that they are these micro celebrities or whatever she's thinking that she has. Um, because there's still so much that's not known. And I know Emily has said things like, there are still stuff that I could reveal about Jessica that would,
But this
blow
is
it out
what
of the water.
Jessica does, right? Like it's like, oh,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
could, by the way, we didn't finish Cameragate for them.
Oh, yes.
We went
Continue
on the Olivia
Gamergate.
Nuzzi, and I'm like, I don't want them to be upset with us. So,
Yes.
okay, the end of the story is basically Jessica wanted stage paparazzi photos of her and Olivia Nuzzi. Okay, because she was trying to reveal this, like she was just begging for the internet to care, and like nobody bid at the Substack, so she was trying to do these stage paparazzi photos and like I don't know, sell them to Page Six or something, which I don't know, like if anyone would care. But anyway, basically, uh her photographer's camera died and she allegedly yelled at the photographer so badly in front of both of her writers, her assistant, the photographer's daughter, and obviously
Mhm.
the photographer's being yelled at.
Mhm.
And then the two writers quit. I think one of them, Emily, quit kind of earlier, and like the one Brianna didn't quit right away. She'd quit kind of a little bit further down the line. And then Denise obviously quit. But that's what led to the House of Habit becoming a house of cards, and it fell.
And didn't she tell the photographer to go in the bushes and go take these pictures in the
So
bushes?
that's what was being said. Like they she wanted stage paparazzi photos on the bush.
I'm sorry.
Which,
I
by
laughed
the
so
way,
hard.
okay, I've been at dinners with people
Yes.
where there's been paparazzi after
Yes.
friends of mine who are reality stars, and nobody's in the bushes. Nobody's
This
in the
isn't
bushes.
like
And also, if
Britney
you've
Spears,
ever been
Paris
to
Hilton in like
Craig's, if you've been to Craig's
2006.
in LA or Nobu, like the photographers, like with Nobu, they'll have like a long lens, and like with Craig's, they're pretty, they're like usually a bit closer, but like nobody's hiding in the bushes.
I'm sorry. Like that was the one thing that I just
But
could
she
not stop
lost her
laughing about.
goddamn mind. She's like, this was my moment to be, splashed across Page Six. Everyone's gonna be so shocked. It's like I don't think half the people even know who Olivia Nuzzi is unless you were
No.
following that
No.
part of the everything. But I did go into it's so funny. I did go into Olivia Nuzzi and her feud with Olivia Nuzzi in my Substack this week, which by the way, guys, I did write about this in Substack this week.
Yes, 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 yes. I will be posting that as well.
We're
And
like
I will
covering a
put
lot of it here, but
but if you want, like, I know we're jumping around, I know we're like chiming in, but truly, like, Lauren worked so hard on this. It will be linked in the episode summary. So please, please, please support her and get the full breakdown there.
oh my gosh. Well, honestly, I either or, but I personally I can't stop looking at content about this. So I was like, let me just write
Yeah.
something for the people. But I kind of went through her slides. So when she was fighting with Olivia Nuzzi, it was because she felt like she had been really like sabotaged by Olivia, like and really like scorned. And it was definitely giving like I'm just like kind of jealous that Olivia has the inside track with
Yeah.
Bobby and I
Right.
don't. Like it was giving like scorned woman and like insane like MLM aunt who just got access to like conspiracy Facebook group. Like it was not giving like investigative journalist, but okay.
MLM.
So like basically like I pulled some quotes. She accused Olivia Nuzzi of being infatuated with older, powerful men, obsessed with RFK Jr., sabotaging everything I worked hard to protect, conniving, covertly trying to destroy my credibility, responsible for ruining what should have been a very special time for my family because she was moving her son into college. Uh, she wrote that Olivia literally knocked the wind out of me, claiming to be shocked over the sordid ordeal. And imagine that Olivia was somewhere in New York City waking up, stressing over what exactly I'll divulge. And then she wrote good and like
Oh
not,
my
she wasn't
God.
joking. And so anyway, it was just nuts. But her and Olivia like reconciled after all this. And by the way, like, I know I mentioned this. She called her fat or big bone Meryl
Big Bone
Streep.
Meryl Streep.
And I'm like, it's giving like she stole who you thought was your man. Because Jessica chases RFK around in a very
Yikes.
strange way, and I think she might have a little crush on him personally.
Little.
My opinion is that
I've never been so repulsed
and for a
by.
man that like cheats so easily,
Yeah.
allegedly, well, not even allegedly, listen, he had a file that was G for Gumar, which means like mistress in Italian, that he had all of his mistresses under with his former wife. I think her name was Mary. And so this
My
man, like,
God.
I think is a known philanderer. And
And trying to take away. My terzepatide.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, sir, if we're going to talk about tirzepatide and Ozempic, then let's talk about Viagra because I want to see you do it naturally, sir. I want you to have to philander on your own.
My God.
You better not need any assistance. And he's a 71-year-old man, so if not
Who's,
now, probably soon, sir. Uh,
well, I mean, it goes without saying that anybody who is showing strong interest in this administration, let alone showing up to the White House with a empty binder with your Epstein files release. I don't know why she thinks that she is above everybody else and that she was going to, and people were going to be like, oh, I'm going to support you, Jessica. And, the grift is so real and it is so evident now. And I think between the Reddit, between House and Horror, the work that Joanna has done, archiving years
hmm
of Jessica's receipts, because again, I am so shocked that there hasn't been more of like legal rumblings when it comes to her. But at the same time, it's like, why put in the time and effort into this most miserable human who has nothing better to do except line her pockets? And that's it. She just wants to live this rich and famous lifestyle,
hmm
and she's only bearing her, again, quote unquote, career here for what? For what? It is just, it's mind-boggling to me how many people she has traumatized.
Yes. And the thing you have to remember is like I had people write me this week who like the second they don't like sometimes the second if y'all that are a little bit right leaning or listening don't
Hmm.
like someone, you're like, she's not a Republican. Guys, like, I don't even disagree with you. I don't
Yeah.
think Jessica actually has a stance. I think she is playing in your face. And
Hmm.
I think that she realized that she could lean in to the right and probably have a little bit more easier of a time gaining power and influence. And,
Hmm.
I would say people that are more left leaning are a bit more cautious or sensitive to things that look like conspiracy theories, and that tends to be something that aligns with the right a bit more.
Critical thinking
And
skills.
yeah, and that's what she's listen, you guys are definitely take ownership of 4chan and QAnon, like, and that's on you.
Hmm.
But she literally like one of the writers did a live and was like, she hired me to write conspiracy theories. Like,
Yes. Yes.
the fact that Olivia Nuzzi was coming in and being like, oh, this Candace Owens piece is like not good and like it could be libelous. Like, would Jessica have just released that had Candace not been there or had, Olivia not been there? Or was she?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like this week, Jessica has gone after Ian Carroll, who's kind of like a
Mm.
conspiratorial dude that like started kind of like writing about Jessica in the midst of all this. But it's like, oh, she was like too afraid to fight with Candace. So she called Candace this weekend, essentially like
That's right.
groveling,
Yeah.
right? Be like,
Yeah.
please, Candace, like have mercy on me. Like, even though I never would have had mercy on you if like this had worked in my favor and I probably would have doubled down. Because
And if she would have done that hit piece on Candace,
hmm
that actually would have gone up. Yeah.
and the thing is, it's just like the dog pile has turned on Jessica. The dog pile
Hmm.
that Jessica usually likes to unleash on people to such a detriment.
Hmm.
I think that like regardless of your like political affiliation, with a lot of these scenarios, if you actually sat down and talked to a survivor and like looked them in the eye and heard their story and
Hmm.
really looked them in the eye and heard their story, if you are a halfway decent person with a moral compass, regardless of your political affiliation, you would be completely disgusted by the pile-on and the things that people online do, taking the bait sometimes from either perpetrators or lawyers of perpetrators,
Hmm.
um, not realizing how anxiety, inducing this is
Inducing.
for
Yeah.
somebody, and then they might not be the perfect narrator because they're fucking freaking out and having to relive all this and have be in talk about it in front of so many people. Could you imagine?
PTSD. I
The worst
mean,
person,
yeah.
the worst thing that's happened to you and you have PTSD, you have to talk about it and be questioned about it and then have the internet question you. Like, it's just fucking wild to me. But yeah, she's playing in your face. I don't think she actually cares that much about politics. I think she cares about proximity to power. I think she cares about Tulsi Gabbard's lip gloss. I think she cares about,
Mhm.
you know, fugly Gucci loafers and staying in nice hotel rooms, you know?
That's all that this is. It's just one giant grift, y'all.
It's a grift. It
It's
is.
and I think to your point, Lauren, I mean, anyone who's listening to this, these are my, episodes where I just get to freely talk about these types of things, but the regular episodes, y'all, you hear it. You hear it from trauma survivors who are in the media. They tell you. They tell you what they've experienced. That is what this podcast is to give people the framework and the understanding of what it actually means to go out in the media, say, hey, this horrible, tragic thing happened to me. And the amount of times that the victim blaming, victim shaming, especially if you are a survivor of a well-known predator that hi, I'm one. Right? I went through this very heavily in 2022 but amplified in 2023, and both of my abusers are not even to the magnitude celebrity status as some of these other people. But when you are sitting there and piling on and encouraging this is where I have even more of a problem with where you stand, because think about it. Think about the worst, most horrible thing that has ever fucking happened to you. And you go out there, you tell the world in efforts to either get justice or accountability or to help you in your healing journey. That is that one person's prerogative. But
Hmm.
when you start going and you start commentating, you start going and sending DMs, and you are doing X, Y, and Z to that person, stop it. Stop it all the way.
And
Because, yeah, but this is what Jessica
take a look at
encourages.
who she is commingling with,
Yes.
because I don't see her having little chats with, the actual survivors that are coming forward.
No.
It's always, I mean, I remember when Jonah Hill got into,
Oh,
some hot water. It was like almost like in the middle of the night. He
yes.
started going after his ex-girlfriend or
Sarah, is that her name?
ex-fiance. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like he was involved in the Santa Clemente, whatever, surf community.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like almost as if it was overnight. And like, even with like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, I mean, I know you and I have talked about that, and I never was interested in the pile on. And for anyone that
No.
like really wants to look into that case
Mm-hmm.
and really like actually maybe rethink the way that you were thinking about it, go listen to the podcast Who Trolled Amber. Go
Yeah.
listen to that and
Yeah.
listen to that, and like it will probably change the way you think about everything, because you know, the potential like online interference and bot stuff that was going on is really
Yes.
insane.
Yes.
And I'm not saying Amber is the perfect victim or didn't have any bad behaviors, but she won in England, which it's
Yeah.
much easier to, or much harder to win there
Harder. Mm-hmm.
than it is here. Her lawyer felt confident she would win here.
Yes.
And then there
Right.
was a lot of stuff going online from what looked like Saudi accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's the Baldoni
En
effect.
masse. Exactly. So
We
really,
just saw
and
this, y'all.
between the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively and Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, go listen to Who Trolled Amber, because you'll
Hmm.
start seeing this a lot differently. And a
Hmm.
lot of people are playing in your face. But the other thing that I wanted to bring up is Jessica has always said like she's not been paid. And like I have the receipts of this in my Substack article, but about a year ago, I felt like she was getting paid indirectly by campaigns. And my friend
Yeah.
Sarah was like, Lauren, like keep your eye on the PACs, because they have to um disclose
Report that. Yeah.
stuff on the PACs. So we'd been like PAC watchdogs for like probably a year, and like Joanna was really on top of it because like she in her career like she has that very type A mind. And by the way, I love Joanna. Everyone should follow House and Horror. She's the best. But she was really on top of it, and then we kind of put it out to Reddit, and I think it was a Redditor that actually like stayed on top of it and found that um Jessica was paid $1,140 by American Values Pack. Um
Mm.
so she said that it was for the um they basically like she went down to the DNC with RFK Jr.'s group, and she said that it was for her hats. They bought her hats.
Oh,
So the whatever House and Habit hats, or like something
oh
like
God.
don't believe the truth anymore, or
Oh
something, whatever
God.
her stupid slogan is.
Cringe.
So anyway, question everything. I don't know. But anyway, basically, she said that they bought 30 hats for $38 a pop. So it was $1,140. But before she realized it was the hats, she's like, oh, well, they paid for the hotel. It was like
Wow.
somebody trying to grab a bar of soap. Like she couldn't remember what, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, I was wrong. They didn't pay for my hotel. It turns out they paid for my hats. Then, because Reddit is so shady, they looked up the FedEx number because she posted the hats, and the hats looked like they never arrived. And like maybe she hand delivered them or something. I don't know.
Mm.
But
Good
then she
Lord.
also had this pizza party, and they found that like there was a pizza party meetup for her, but basically like America Values Pack paid for that. So it's like this is like the tip of the iceberg. This is what we're seeing. Like she is like playing in your face. So
Hmm.
what else is there that we're not seeing, you know? I wouldn't be surprised with the way in which she is motivated by money and the way in which she goes after victims of sexual assault. I have often wondered, and obviously this is not like an allegation. I've often wondered, is she that much of a pick me that she just wants these men to choose her? Or is she getting paid indirectly by some sort of like PR or something to
Right.
spin it this way,
Right. I
and
think
I don't
those two
know.
things could coexist.
I
Like,
don't I don't know,
but
right?
who knows? But who knows? And it's but I think what to take it a step further and again to address, anybody who's listening who may not have the same political leanings as myself or Lauren, I really want to challenge you because first and foremost, I know I've said this multiple times, but literally what I studied in college was literally how we communicate in the media through different intercultures, right? And when I started my major, it was the election for Obama, 2008. Okay. So I have very much studied very heavily when it comes to politics and how we cover them in the media. But to take that a step further, okay, now that we know the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni aspect of this, the also understanding, I'm very sorry that I'm going to say this, but like, why is it that X all of a sudden, all the pro like Trump stuff, all of that disappeared as soon as he won, right? Like there's just little inconsistencies. And when we're talking about social media, the media, all of this is curated, y'all. Like this isn't just, again, oh wow, we're covering this. No, it's all intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is with intent. And what we are experiencing today, whether you agree with this administration or not, but at the end of the day, the stock market just fucking crashed, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about tariffs, we're talking about all of these little things, but it is causing mass hysteria. Okay, we also have Signalgate. We also have all of these little things that keep happening. And if it's going to take Jessica to make you realize that the wool has been covered over your eyes and you're finally realizing what's happening, apply that to present day in politics and what you
Mm-hmm.
are observing. That is all I'm asking you to do. Critical thinking skills, what I mean by that is really sitting down with it, think about it. Is there some type of ill intention behind it? Is there a motivation? Think about what you are consuming, who you're consuming it from. Is this somebody that you can truly fully believe that they have, the best intentions when it comes to reporting? And Jessica has very much sat here and has cosplayed being an investigative journalist, when I've been an investigative journalist for as long as, I can think of, no, we are two very different people in how we look at things. And if she wants to sit here and she wants to talk about crime and she wants to talk about sexual assault and she wants to talk about domestic violence, there is a way to do that. And I have offered that to her.
But she does not care
She does
because
not care.
polarity equals popularity, and she's here for clicks and money. And so
Yes.
she's going to say the most polarizing thing, whether she believes it or not. And guys,
Hmm.
like whether she believes it or not, she did not change her status to Republican. She did not
No,
vote.
no,
Yet she
no.
was literally listed as one of the most influential right-wing influencers. She did not
Hmm.
vote, whether she
Hmm.
believes it or not. I want you to like take those words with you. And like
Hmm.
literally, this is the woman who's put on her story, I plan on being canceled for the pardoning of the pardoning campaign for Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay? Guys,
Hmm.
I think like that's not a partisan issue. Like we should not be like making jokes or like suggesting that we would like to see Ghislaine Maxwell pardoned, the woman that
No.
procured children for Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. Like, no, like that's not a partisan issue. And I heard this really great thought experiment the other day, and like literally, I just like would love to sing it to the masses, but like it was like basically like if you were like just a soul and you didn't know like what body you were going to go into, you could be literally like a trans woman, you could be a white woman, you could be a black man, like you didn't had no idea. You could be somebody who is in a war-torn country having to like escape and like illegally go into a country, right? You could end up in any circumstance.
Hmm.
How would you vote if you didn't know who you were going to be?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
something that I think like people should reflect on.
Yeah.
Is it your proximity to a white man that's well off that makes you feel safe in this administration, you know?
I
Um,
know it's so much more layered than that, but like, yeah, I mean, uh, I just, I'm trying really hard. And I noticed that you said this too in your Substack, so I want to make sure I acknowledge this. I am trying to be more open. I am trying to be more understanding of other people's opposite belief systems. And because at the end of the day, I think we do care about the same things
mhm,
in different ways. I know that Republican women do not want to see children hurt. They do
mhm,
not want to see children trafficked. Okay, but let's think about Ghislaine Maxwell for a
mhm,
second. Okay, this is who that person was.
mhm,
Okay, so when you are boosting up Jessica and saying that, she's really getting to the bottom of this investigative journalism. She really gets it. I totally believe that Ghislaine should be pardoned or come on. Okay? And we've got to acknowledge that we as women or those who identify as women, we are not held to a standard like the men.
mhm.
And obviously in this administration, that is very crystal clear that is just where we are at. But I do firmly believe we have a lot of the same issues. We just have to figure out how to communicate together. And we have to figure that out. We
Yes.
don't have to agree on every single issue. Um, but I do firmly believe that you, as a woman, deserve access to medical care. I do believe you deserve Medicaid and Medicare, and your children deserve to eat. Your children deserve an education. While I do not agree that religion and education need to coexist together, education is very important. And I just encourage anybody listening, like I said, think outside the box. Do not take everything at face value, especially right now. Right now is the worst time to sit there and believe everything that is being fed to you on your timelines, yeah, on Facebook, on Instagram. I feel like Reddit is one of the only spaces that it's like, okay, people will call people out, if they think this is, whatever, propaganda or whatever it may be. So if you are on House on Fire and you are reading these things and it is bringing up something for you, whether it be like you just want to indulge in this gossip and see how it ends, I get that 110%. But on the other side, think about really the root of this issue and what that actually means to support women, support the women in your lives. And by, boosting up somebody like Jessica who is continuously bringing women down, regardless of their political affiliation, regardless of their life experiences, their trauma. This is what she does. And just like you said, it's money. I firmly believe there is a strong desire to be famous. Whoa, Jessica, you're not worthy.
It's like
Like,
it's at any cost though, right? It's at
yes,
any cost. It's
exactly.
like like I think she likes just being at the center of something. And I think like a
Mhm.
lot of her tactics have been like this weird infomercial where it's like, but wait, there's more. And like
Yes.
people stay on the hook, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I do think what this has taught me as like a liberal woman is like I've had to engage with some things where I was like, okay, like I actually agreed with some of Candace Owens' points. And like some of
Yeah.
what she said made me want to rinse my mouth out with my brain out with mouthwash, right? But the thing is, like, the same could be said for me, like, and you,
Yes.
Celene, right? Some
Same.
women might not align with all this stuff we're saying, but I think,
Mhm.
like, the only way, like, we're gonna repair from where we are now is maybe even us as liberals, as hard as it us is for us, like, not contributing to the division always, unless
Yeah.
it's being blatantly hateful, because I've realized even in consuming some of the content of the people that I super don't agree with, I can still tell that they're like good people, you
Like
know?
there's still a moral compass in
There
there. It
is.
may not always be.
It may really get turned around sometimes where like,
Yes.
and like I haven't obviously dove into every single element, but then I see some of it where it's like certain things are fear or
Yes.
misinformation that they have been
Mm-hmm.
a victim to. And
Mm-hmm.
um maybe they're in an echo chamber that perpetuates that, and sometimes I feel like I'm in an echo chamber, and sometimes I love that echo chamber because it makes me feel like safe and sane. But it's been interesting consuming content that I normally wouldn't, and realizing, okay, like I really don't agree with this person, but they're not necessarily trying to do something for polarity or
Yeah.
clicks.
Yeah.
Like with
Right.
Jessica, it's completely lacks any moral compass, because I don't even know if she believes half of what she says. I almost prefer somebody that believes certain like medical misinformation or whatever, like 10 toes down, because I can be like, okay, like they really believe this, like they're in this and they're really
Yeah.
believing this information. And it's not that they're spreading this at any cost for clicks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I agree. And like I said, I mean, the domestic violence report that went up was mortifying to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a flying fuck if you voted for Trump and somebody did that to you. That's not
Yes.
okay. That is
Yeah.
not okay at any given point in time.
No.
And again, and that's why I know people are just like, "Oh, it's the woke liberals." To tell you from my mouth, woke honestly means empathy. Woke
Mm-hmm.
honestly means that I try to see everybody as human. I try to see everybody as hurting people.
Mm-hmm.
I firmly believe there is not a single soul on this earth who has not suffered some type of traumatic trauma, especially in your childhood. And I would honestly I'm going to go out there and assume that there are women out there who probably did vote for Trump who are probably very confused right now and not knowing what's happening or just turning an eye like a blind eye to it, not wanting to engage with it. But I'm here to tell you that give yourself a little bit more grace. Give yourself time to, just like you said, maybe go and do read some things that are opposing to you. But like I said, maybe there are things that we do agree upon. I can't imagine that we are all sitting here wanting to see children be abused or bombed or killed at any given point in time. I made the point in the last off script episode to say, when a school shooting happens, okay, this is the most extreme example. I am not sitting there thinking about political affiliations. If adults are killed, if children are killed, what their parents believe, I don't give a flying fuck. I don't
Mm-hmm.
give a fuck. My heart breaks every single time when it comes to senseless acts of crime. and especially when we're talking about death and murder. And I know that's very extreme, but I'm just trying to say to you, if I have your attention, just understand that all I want in this world, especially in America, is for us to stop feeling this divide because it doesn't need to
Hmm.
be this way. It was not that way like 15 years ago. I could very easily speak to a Republican person, a woman, and we would still find grounds of agreements and communications, right? So this is just me saying to everyone, like I said, just really think a little bit longer when you're reading something, especially like from Jessica or anybody who thrives
Yeah.
off of that. And again, for clicks, for money, for notoriety, eh, those should not be the people that you should be supporting. But everyone has their own belief system, and that's all I'm going to say for my little soapbox.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think if you're maybe not aligned with the liberal ideology, I think if you want to understand what's hard for us is that this administration feels different because the government is taking precedence over people's rights. And
Mhm.
we're seeing people get, taken off the streets and it's like we don't even know where it ends. And some of the things that I'm hearing
Mhm.
are pretty horrifying.
Mhm.
So I think for us, it's like it's hard to see this play out. And it's kind of like during the election, it sort of felt like that movie Don't Look Up,
Yeah.
where this wasn't like voting for Mitt Romney for us. I could
Yeah.
deal with somebody who's gonna vote for like a reasonable Republican. I think this
Yeah.
was really triggering for a lot of us for many different reasons, including obviously the allegations. I think Trump with E. Jean Carroll was convicted or was
Yes.
like that was
Yes.
proven. It was just like,
Yes.
wasn't it? Was it too late with the statute of limitations or something?
Something to that degree, but again,
Yeah.
yeah, like he
But
didn't.
yeah, it's like, this isn't like a Mitt Romney or like somebody who like,
Oh.
okay, like, yeah, maybe like certain things wouldn't be dealt with in the same way, but I don't think it would have taken us back so far.
Right. And even back then, I mean, I always said to myself, like, if Romney would have won, I wouldn't be having like this melodramatic, like,
No, like we would be fine. Like
crippling.
we would be fine,
Yeah. I
we
mean,
would
I
be
mean,
fine.
look, nothing has ever been picture perfect under any president,
Nope.
period, regardless. Okay.
And let's be real, like with politicians, like we kind of are choosing the lesser of two evils sometimes. Like, I
Yes.
don't think even like the people on the left are always perfect. But like
No,
again, it's like,
no.
the people that are like actually probably like really solid people like are like never gonna rise to those
Probably get
ranks.
to that degree. Yeah, exactly. And that's very, I think that's the other thing too. There is this like belief system that because you're left leaning, then yeah, every single person is no, 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 no. Like honestly, I have always said like there's a lot of shit that Bush did that I do not agree with. Obviously. Now, with that being said, would I sit down and like have a burger with him? Probably,
Hmm.
because I find him kind of interesting and kind of funny. And but that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't like this divisiveness, and now more than ever, I feel so strongly that we just need to get talking. We just need to find that common ground. I know we're not going to agree on everything. I know we're not going to agree on religion. We're not going to agree on, a good portion of things. But like I said, I do think we have a lot of the same belief systems, but they're rooted in different issues, or we see it differently, or however that's affecting you. But I applaud you for, like I said, Lauren, just like doing that because I haven't even been able to go on and like, fully read anybody's, other Substacks that are right leaning. So it goes without saying, just thank you. Thank you for summarizing all of this, for sitting down with me today. Because, like I said, I got so many DMs from a lot of my House on Fire followers, asking if I could weigh in or am I going to weigh in on this. But like I said, I mean, there's just so much out there. That's why I really want to point people to your Substack where you get so into it. You're so detailed, like everything that y'all need. It's in there. Please, please, please go and check it out. And like I said, this will be in the episode notes. But on that, Lauren, like Thank you for
Thank
doing this,
you.
first of
We
all.
needed to like exercise our demons. Listen, like I posted a meme and somebody recreated it, and I was like, oh my God, they literally took my meme. But like, okay, I didn't post it to the main feed, but it was like Regina George getting up being like,
That was like the
a
best thing
victim
that you
and
tagged me
some
in.
of us don't have to be here. And then it was like, oh, has anyone here been victimized by Regina George? And everyone raised their hand. But I feel
Yeah.
like so many of us have had an encounter with this woman. So this
Mhm.
was it was good to hash it out. I'm glad people of opposing ideologies are kind of seeing the grift.
Hmm.
And it's just, yeah, I'm glad I got to have this conversation because it's been
Yeah.
on my mind all week, believe me.
Oh yeah. Agreed. And but yeah, truly like I just want people to do your homework, do your research. That can lead to going down rabbit holes, but like you're supporting really smart, intelligent women. Like I said, follow House and Horror. Joanna has been collecting these receipts for so long, and I can't
Yes.
imagine how much time that actually takes to do something like that. And Oversharing Podcast is another one who have done multiple episodes. I think you went on there as well.
Yeah.
And so it's like just keep supporting those women who are trying. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a dime going into my pocket doing this.
Mhm.
And it's just because I believe so much in bringing awareness. Again, as a survivor myself, it is so important for me to advocate even in this capacity. Maybe it seems like, I'm being a little petty at times. But when you fuck around and you find out, and especially when you do that with survivors, don't fuck with me.
Hmm.
Period.
Hmm. And
Don't
also, like, I'm
fuck
sorry,
with
but the
me.
pettiness is warranted at this point. Like, we've weathered the storm, and like, it's now we have the Real Houses of MAGA. And the other thing about Joanna is, if you don't want to give House and Habit a click, but you want to follow
Yes,
along for the drama, the whole point of her account is she follows House and Habit, or
so that
like
you don't have to.
collects the receipts, so you don't have to.
Hmm.
So just go look at House and Horror. Don't engage with people that are either playing in your face or just
Yeah,
damaging a lot of different people. And, just, hopefully we can all get to a place where we can all kumbaya and be in a little
at
bit more of
peace.
alignment. Because I think we do have more in common than we don't sometimes, and we just
Yeah,
trouble getting to that conclusion, see aligning.
exactly.
So
I love it.
we're praying for
Well,
peace. We're praying for good vibes in the country someday.
someday, but get that holy water and just drench the country in it because I don't know
Yeah.
what else to do. But y'all, I again just thank you so much for listening. Lauren obviously will be coming back as we continue to have these conversations. As I shared with her before we started recording, I would love to bring her back to talk about Gypsy Rose and this newest season of her show. Equally, this new docuseries about Octomom, which is Nadia. I can never remember her last name. It starts with an S, but anyway, if you're not watching either of those, I highly suggest you do, especially if you are somebody who's out there making content on TikTok, ripping down trauma survivors without fully understanding their stories. You should definitely go sit down and watch that, and then maybe reach out to me, and I can tell you why you should probably be a little bit more kind. So, on that note, y'all, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget that regular episodes will begin next Wednesday with Bill Thomas. So we will get through season 2 through the end of May, and then Mama here is going to take a little break. So, again, thank you so much for listening, y'all. Lauren, thank you for being here. Love you, girl.
You. Love you.